What were the other options? Morale of navies, trade efficiency, improved relations. I definitely can't afford the level 2, so those are irrelevant. National tax stability cost. How much money do we have? 155. I was earning a lot, but you can only raid every 10 years. So if we're paying 12 ducats a year times 10 is 120 ducats a year. I did not earn that from piracy. So, no, we're not doing it. Cities demand old rights. Urban dwellers have always existed under a different code of rules from their rural brethren, even in the same state. Just as monarchs looked to curb the privileges of the nobles, they often tried to bring cities under more uniform rules and regulations. The cities often resisted these efforts. Lose reform progress. I suspect we didn't have very much. Yeah, it's a good question. What is my first idea group going to be? Oh, in fact, we don't want military ideas because we have a great military leader. We do want diplomatic so we can stay ahead of time in terms of Diplo. We could also build a flagship. Flagship galley. Yeah, let's delete one of the galleys that we're building. It's going to be a pain clicking on this place. Shipbuilding, delete that one. Take Hawaii and make that my capital. I mean, it's a bit further away and I can't see it. What's a Hawaii? So Uchi is in this war against Otomo and Ishiki. Doesn't look like they're going to be losing that one anytime soon. So at the moment I'm allied with these two, which is good because they're adjacent to each other. I'm trying to basically isolate Uchi. And if I can get an alliance with someone like Hoshikawa, which is really close actually. Yeah, that's not going to happen, so let's just stop. And let's improve relations with these guys instead. And then when this is available, we'll just go ahead and send them the alliance offer. Hey League of Average Gaming, how are you doing? Been a while since I've seen you in EU4. Yeah, I know, it's because I always did the multiplayer commentary stuff, none of the single player. I've missed it. I like this game. No buildings available? No. Take over Taiwan, potentially make that a major colonial port. Yes, I could. If I went colonialism. The only problem with going colonialism is that's... Well, actually that's not true. We have the Philippines, which are fairly close. I don't really feel like this should be a colonial game, though. This is a pirating game. Unfortunately, they haven't improved any of the mechanics behind piracy, so... We still have to kind of rely on double-checking to see when we can actually raid stuff again. So the next raid is not going to be until May 55. We've got another 80 years before that happens. Am I still behind my force limit? By 1. I think we'll hold off for now. Okay, so Uchi has grown. We are super close to our alliance with Hosokawa. Come on, so close. We can still get another 19 points, so we're fine. There we go. So we'll stop with Hoshikawa. As soon as he gets back next month. Let's go speed 5, see how that does on this laptop. Alliance, Hoshikawa, excellent. And now we're at 3 of the 4 alliance slots. So I do feel like we should get 1 more. Who else are you allied to? Hatakeyama and Tokugawa. So that's Hatakeyama, and then that's Oda. That's Toshigawa. I feel like I actually know where half of these places are. Thanks, Shogun Total War. I'm just going to sit on a pile of money. Divert trade. Our overlord Ashikaga decided to divert our trade. We give up 100% of the trade power to them. We gain Liberty Desire. Which is really bloody close. Yo is already under attack. Oh, now we're losing money. Right, because we just lost our trade income. I mean, I wasn't really expecting that we were going to be gaining much trade income. It's a bit harsh that you can take 100% of it. 100%! Welcome back and hope that 1.29 treats you well. Looking forward to playing some Mongolia. Trip in the US is really good. And in fact, yes, this is an excellent opportunity to talk about that. So the reason I am currently in the US is because I am working on a Kickstarter game. It's a massively multiplayer sci-fi strategy game called Starium XCV. So imagine Stellaris, that's a pretty good comparison, but with 3,000 other human players and between 60,000 and 100,000 AI players. Plus a whole lot more interaction, like this is me we're talking about. So the economic system is a fair bit better. We have trade systems. There's a backstory and lore behind the various playable factions, stuff like that. If you are interested in learning more, then do head over to Starium XCV, just press !Starium or !Kickstarter, and it'll throw up a link to that. And the update that we released today, the Jervian race overview, I wrote. So if you want to see the kind of things that I've actually been directly involved in, I am the lore master, so all the backstory and all that stuff is me. 1R, Collinus, 1R. We have another galley. So at the moment I'm fairly happy to be just sitting here making a loss. It's not a huge deal. I mean, what I could even be doing, seeing as I'm not earning money anyway, I'll just pirate them. In fact, let's not pirate Japan. Let's pirate Beijing. Has more money in it. We'll start pirating Beijing. And they can't touch me because I'm a daimyo. No, 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 no. And now we're making money again. There we go. Simples. And I have a free diplomat. So I'm going to start putting up a spy network against Uchi. Because I feel like we really need to bring Uchi down a peg. Or 3. They've still only got a standing army of 3. They have 5 ships, so I outnumber them at sea with my 6. And also just the fact that I am a pirate republic. Now, do we have a doctrine? Oh, interesting. You have to have a naval force limit of at least 20 before you can get a doctrine. Is that new? I feel like that's new. Be interesting, except I don't play MMOs anymore. Well, it's built for people who don't have a huge amount of time. So the idea is you start moving a couple of ships and things, and then all the movement is real time. So it would say, okay, it will take you 2 hours to reach the next star system, for example. So you just walk away, then 2 hours later you check in, say, okay, we've arrived, let's move you over here instead. And you move another 2 hours away. So it's not built to be sitting here at the computer going, okay, I must play an MMO. Because, yeah, I've had that addiction. It's not fun. This is very much designed for people on the go. People at work, during a break, during a lunch break or whatever. Ashikaga have given me money. So all the money that they've been taking off of me in trade, they've just given me a huge surplus of instead. Thanks, guys. And that is true. You don't need to deal with kids screaming into your ears. You can still use privateers, right? Even though you've raided some coast. Oh yeah. I'm currently privateering Ming over here with my one light ship. In fact, what I could do, which would actually be fairly smart, is build a flagship which has the trade thing, which will mean that all of my ships have trade power, which means they can all privateer if they're in that fleet. So it's not just the light ships, I can privateer with galleys. Ooh, that could be fun. And that would also allow me to definitely maintain naval superiority. Like, if I lose that, I lose. Oh, I can't have a flagship until we have 1,500 employed sailors. So we need quite a big fleet before we can do that. Okay. Cool. In that case, we may as well build another galley. Hey, I remember the problem with EU4 music. The balance is really bad. Like, some tracks are really loud and some not. Flagships are expensive, true, but I have loads of money because I can just raid people's coasts when I run out. I have the Bank of Korea to back me up, even if they may not necessarily want to. Election in the Pirate Republic. A captain rules over a nation of thieves and murderers whose sole political desire is not to be ruled at all. It is a task comparable to herding sharks, yet some brave or foolhardy soul must fill the role. The time has come once again to elect the captain, and Akibatsu Matsura does not plan on giving up his authority. Akibatsu Matsura must convince the assembled pirates through persuasion or dread intimidation that his rule is preferable to that of his rivals. So we can keep him, and he gains skill in everything. He is a famous pirate, so he won't cost anything to re-elect, so we may as well just keep re-electing this guy. Done. Right, let's get some tea. Tea to celebrate the re-election. Which went with absolutely no hitches. Okay, it went with a couple of hitches, because we needed to tie them into our sails. That was a terrible joke. Our election went with many, many hitches. Would be a more truthful thing to say. Alright, so when can I tech up, and when can I start building things like the temples? Not for a little while. I only have 2 build slots, so I do need to be a little careful about that. You know what, I think it is probably worth getting one of these. Let's get the Morale of Navies. What time is it? 10 to 6. At least where I am right now. Oi. Pirates are celebrating your election with some sort of festivities. Some sort of tea party, perhaps. Yes. And in this tea party, we do not throw it into the harbour. We made that mistake before. It didn't go well for us. Alright, so we've almost got the next military technology. Uchi's up to... oh no, that's Tokugawa as well. Uchi's up to 4,000. Do I want to risk recruiting like cavalry? No, because their maintenance is 0.5. That would send me way over. Maybe I should spend points on upgrading these. Renaissance. Okay, so now prices will start increasing. So let's go ahead and get the military technology before it increases. That also gets me some innovativeness. Maybe I want to go for innovativeness. That's my first idea. I mean, I was thinking of going maritime or naval, but I don't necessarily need to. They tell us of the capture of the Ming Emperor. In a surprising turn of events, we discovered that the Ming Emperor was personally leading his army in battle. He was a fool to face us on the battlefield. We made short work of his pathetic, undisciplined soldiers and even managed to capture the Emperor himself. This could give us great leverage over the Ming government, but we must act quickly to take advantage of the situation. We must make haste to capture Beijing, where we will enforce our terms. Morale of armies plus 20%, siege ability plus 25%. For Essen Koros, which is one of the new events which can break Ming apart. It's not your fault you raised the taxes. The taxes that the 13 colonies were paying at the time were among the lowest in the British Empire. It was a very bad excuse. The fact that they didn't have representation, yeah, okay, I'll grant you that one, but the fact that they were paying taxes, rubbish. In fact, the taxes that they were paying were to protect them against the French in Canada. In the 30 Years' War. Not 30 Years' War. Which war was that? The one with Frederick and Maria Theresa and Catherine the Great. And all of the other crazy good leaders at the time. Are we going to see a Ming explosion this early? Maybe. Our merchants have picked up a few new concepts when it comes to handling trade. Trade. They encountered some foreign merchants. They stole the stuff from the foreign merchants. They think that with some investment to try it out, they will be very beneficial to us in the long run. So this is inflation for Diplo power, or just we get a little bit of Diplo. I don't really want inflation, so I'm just going to use caution here. Election in the Pirate Republic. Oh, seriously? He did not last very long. How old was he? 40? And he was a legendary. Damn it. Alright, let's go with the smuggler then. Shigemoto Mimura. Actually, what do the factions do? Let's remind ourselves. So the Buccaneers produce less tax income. They have more sailors and more yearly Republican tradition. The smugglers have more trade efficiency and trade power, but less prestige. Then the captains have more morale of navies, more naval leader fire, but more expensive stability. Okay. Ooh, well-connected advisor cost reduction. That's really good for us. So instead of paying him one ducat a month, we're now paying him 0.8 ducats a month. Excellent. Oh, stop. That'll get me copyrighted for sure. I thought I had those turned off. Hold on, I need to deal with this. As much as I love Sabaton, I don't want to get this copyright struck. So let's switch over to here. Play U4. I was like, who's playing Sabaton? Oh, it's me. This is the new... Oh, you can't see it. See, there used to be a warning on the launcher if you had, like, Sabaton enabled. Apparently they removed that in this newest version of the launcher. So where's the list of DLCs? There they are. Manage DLC. Music, here we go. Sabaton soundtrack, off. Is any of this other stuff copyright? Like, Sabaton's the only one that I was aware of. Wasn't there an option somewhere to just not play any copyrighted music? Yeah, it was a startup thing in the launcher. They have apparently removed that. Conquest of Constantinople music pack, Songs of the New World, Songs of Yuletide, Republican music, Songs of War, Guns, Drums and Steel, 1 and 2, Kyrie's soundtrack. Oh, that's a community thing, that should be alright. Songs of Exploration, Sabaton, which is definitely copyright. And there's no mark saying that this is copyright, by the way. Kyrie, Rule Britannia, Dharma, Golden Century. Alright, I'm going to fingers crossed that that's now dealt with it. Let's continue. Don't think any of the music apart from Sabaton's copyrighted. That's what I thought. What was I trying to figure out? The war that Mordred mentioned. It was Frederick the Great versus Austria. I can't remember if it was actually Maria Theresa that he was fighting or if it was somebody else. It was Austria and Russia. I think France versus Prussia and Britain. Prussia fought a super defensive war. It's the one that I streamed. You know, when I had the Steam stream. It was that scenario that I was playing. Alright, onwards. That was nice and quick. Oh, they've expanded even more. Uchi is getting stupid strong here. I would like to see what their manpower situation is like. Ming's already got 26 mercenaries and no manpower. This might well be a Ming explosion already because they've changed how mercenaries work. Right, let's go and take a look at that. Is that in this update? Oh, that might not be this update. It's not this update. Never mind. 30 Years War was the Gustavus Adolphus one. Yeah, that was earlier. That was the Protestants versus Catholics war, basically. It's the League War. Right, Shoni is done. Let's go and turn music back on. Now that we shouldn't be playing Sabaton anymore. 7 Years War, that's the one. I knew it was a certain number of years war. It was the 7 Years War. How are we doing for professionalism? It's growing, slowly but surely. And like I said, I'm expecting that we're going to be one of the only factions that actually has professionalism. Ah, now we're getting trade income again. So we're privateering and trading. Cool. Prussia got into war against 2 empresses, Maria Theresa and Catherine the Great. We'll save when Catherine died and succeeded by Frederick. Yeah, and Frederick basically peaced out for nothing because he really liked the Prussians. '51. Peasants' War in Bengal. New technology. Diplo. So let's grab that. Now we can build the marketplace. Question is, do we want to? Because we only have 2 build slots. We definitely want to build the navy stuff. Tech 6, Tech 8. That's the one we want. I don't think we care so much about fortifications, although ultimately we probably will want that. Trade power here is 1.1, so this would only increase it to like 1.6. We definitely want the temple. I think we probably want the workshop and the temple, because we have Chinaware, which is fairly valuable. This is the Pirate Daimyo nation, yes. Hence we are on the smallest island ever. What's the TLDR of this new patch? They've massively overhauled like the whole of Asia. So Ming has a bunch of new events. Manchuria has been redone. Manchu is redone. Korea is redone. Japan has a new daimyo, the one I'm playing as. I don't know if they've done anything with Southeast Asia. I think this is just China. Korea. Russia. I guess technically this is Russia. Mongolia, and then some of the Hordes' interactions with Ming. Primarily it's Ming and Manchu. Or it has national ideas and banners have been changed, yeah. Manchu banner change is the big one. Chagatire's ideas are cool. Oh, that's much better. I'm trying to prevent getting carpal tunnel because I use this computer so often at the moment. Is there anything else I could be doing? Because we still only have 3 allies. Is there anybody else that could be potentially an ally? Yashiki, Chiba, Hatakama. Yeah, there's a couple. Where's Ashiki? Uswegi, not really interested. Ashikaga would, but that's my overlord.